Hello, boys and girls. Happy Monday. So, we're starting week 3 of our Survived unit. All right, so this week you are reading or listening to, I should say, Lauren Tarshis read you chapters 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. So, they are located right here. All right, of I Survived the Sinking of the Titanic 1912. When you're done or as you're reading, it's up to you. Click on the link here, which will take you to your Google form for chapters 9 through 12 questions. Just like the last few weeks, there's 5 questions to answer. So that's basically your Monday. All right, on Tuesday, when you meet with me, our focus is going to be show, don't tell. So if you could, please watch the Brain Pop on Show, Don't Tell. You're going to log in with Helen Morgan, and the password is Sparta234. I also have another small YouTube video for you to watch on Show, Don't Tell. All right, so this is going to be the big push this week, show, don't tell, because a lot of you are just telling me what you're doing. I did this and I did that, and then they said this and then they said that. So we got to get more specific. All right, so we'll go back and add show, don't tell after we meet on Tuesday. So make sure to come at your time. But this week we're working on chapters 5 and 6 of our Survived unit. All right, so one of the big things is, again, show, don't tell. So we're going to talk about feelings on slides 11 and 12. So things I want you to think about. Go in depth about your own feelings regarding this current time. Do you miss going to school? What are you hoping or praying for regarding to this pandemic? How is your family affected by this pandemic? What have you learned about yourself, your parents, your siblings, or anything else while you're home? All right, give me what you're feeling at this time. I know some people are scared. Some people could care less. I know some of us were talking last week, we're bored out of our minds, right? So those feelings have them come into play. All right. So what I have for you is, here's my chapter 5 on feelings. So I have my feelings are all over the place during this quarantine. One moment I'm grateful that my girls and I are healthy at this time. Then the next minute I'm worrying. I worry about my mother-in-law who's older. She's is older and has a compromised immune system. She's one who would not bode well if she were to get the virus. I felt very sad on March 27th. My daughter Katie turned 14. She had to celebrate her birthday with her family and friends over Zoom. We got to sing happy birthday to her and celebrate with her, but it was so strange. My husband had been hospitalized for quite some time before he passed away. The doctors and nurses took good care of him. Were such amazing people. They took such good care of him, but they also cared for my family too. I am still in contact with one of the doctors and a few of the nurses. They always reach out to me to make sure we're coping with my husband's death. I cannot help but think of these individuals that are on the front lines fighting the virus every day. My husband had some infections when he was in the hospital, so each time I went into his room, you had to wear a gown and gloves. At one point, I even had to wear a mask too. I think about how many times all of those items we went through as the doctors, nurses, therapists, and visitors came in and out of his room. I can't believe hospitals are running low on these items. They are essential to the healthcare workers. I feel terrible that this is going on. Plus, I worry about the lack of these supplies. These healthcare workers are at risk for exposure to the coronavirus. All right, so I kind of focused on a couple different specifics on how I was feeling. All right, so that's my chapter 5. So chapter 6 is going to be advice. So what I'm going to ask you to do is on slides 12 and 13. What advice are you getting from your parents? What advice would you give to someone who may be younger than you and struggling to understand what's going on? And what advice would you give to a friend who might be struggling about being in quarantine? All right, so if we go to mine, chapter 6, advice. So here is my advice. Teaching remotely can be tricky. I would say my biggest advice is to be flexible with your pet. Jojo, my cat, loves to join me while I'm working. Not only does he step across my keyboard, he will lay across the keyboard. Then, when I'm on meetings with Mr. Lehman and my fellow teachers, Jojo loves to lay across all my papers and roll around on them. Then he'll knock them off the table. Please be aware that pets, although very lovable, they can wreak havoc on your work. All right, my other advice during this time is many other My other advice during this crazy time is not to watch or read too much of the news. It's downright depressing and scary. Each day we watch the numbers of those infected jump and the number of deaths of individuals increase. It is just so sad to see when you think that each one of those numbers is a person with loved ones. Turn on the radio or watch a silly movie. It's so important to keep things that make us smile and laugh in our lives at this time more than ever. All right, so those are my two pieces of advice. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do again, so you're going to read chapters 9 through 12, listen to Lauren Tarshis, read you the Titanic, and do the Google form on Monday. Tuesday, you'll be meeting with me. Come to me with some good background on Show Don't Tell, and then you'll be working Tuesday, Thursday, and if you need to, Friday on chapters 5 and 6 of your I Survived. Alrighty. If you have any questions, you know you can always reach out to me. I hope you have a great week, guys. Bye.